Hello. Hello to everyone. This is Justin Talk News Beats. Welcome ko kayo sa bagong channel na to. I hope you're fine. I hope you're doing well wherever you are in the world. Sana okay kayo dyan. Uh, Before we start, I would like to request na sana naman you would follow, like. Paki-like naman po. Pakipindot naman ng like button. Then, I'm requesting for you to subscribe this channel. This is a new channel. You have to establish again. And I hope that you will subscribe and then kung meron kayong time to follow, kindly follow. And this channel is purely political in nature. A lot of information will be coming or based on our observation on the political ongoings in our country. And this is very important because alam naman ninyo na lahat ay started sa politics. So, wherever you are in the world, you can also press the notification bell para ma-notify naman kayo every time na meron akong broadcast. So today, I'll be discussing about, of course, the Quadcom hearings. But this time, I'll try to be very comprehensive because a lot of blogs na are already released with regards to the individual happening in the Quadcom hearings that happened a couple of days ago. It was a very exciting, controversial, and some say that it's a very annoying event dahil nga maraming naiinis sa mga congressmen. But that's part of the game. That's part of the excitement of the political scenery presently happening in our country today. And like in the past, ganito rin naman ang nangyayari. But this time, dahil we are here very aware during this time, because we are affected quite largely by the decisions of these people who are governing our country. So, talagang dapat maging concerned tayo. Right now, yung sa Quadcom hearings, they're scheduling for another hearing. And I don't know if PRRD will be attending on that hearing. There's a mixed emotion or mixed impression on that. Others wanted him to join the hearing, but others said that we should terminate the Quadcom hearings because sabi pa nga iba, it's an in-hotel. It worth us as nothing. But for me, may gamit din naman ang Quadcom. Kahit na it's very clear naman kung anong intentions ng Quadcom. But yun nga ang isa sa mga positive na nangyari sa Quadcom hearings. Kasi this is on my title, in my topic, my title, that the Quadcom hearing really exposed or revealed the real admin plans to destroy by all means the Dutertes. Yan ang kagandahan sa Quadcom kasi it cemented the doubts that the admin BBM was really planning to take down the Dutertes in the political arena. So gusto nilang mawala talaga ang mga Dutertes. So yung iba are saying na or nagtatanong sa akin, well, when do you think na nagsisimula yung plan na yan? Na despite of the fact na magkasama nga sila ni BBM sa election. And in fact, the reason why BBM won the election, as many sectors have said, that it was due to Sara Duterte. Kasi isa rin sa mga manifestation that totoo ah, yung appreciation na yan na si Sara talaga ang nagpapanalo kay BBM because of the uh, Senator Imes what Senator Imes have said before the election, have done before the election, na lumapit siya kay VP Sara, asking VP Sara kung na nung una sinabi niya na kung pwede si BBM magiging vice president mo if you're running for president, but in turn kasi VP Sara have decided not to run for president, sabi niya why not si BBM na lang ang magiging presidente and then you're the vice president. So sabi ni Sara, pag-isipan ko muna, then later on nag-agree siya. Then I may said na kasi kung if we run as president without you, VP Sara, malabo kami manalo sa Mindanao and Visayas. So, yun ang nangyari. So, ang tanong kung during that time, ano kaya, kasama kaya yung plan nila na to eliminate VP Sara or the Dutertes on that time? Sabi ng iba, it's longer than that. I mean, way back the election. Talagang pinaplano na nila. But I think the plan to eliminate the Dutertes started on the election. Nung election na magkasama na sila VP Sara at si Bongbong Marcos. So, meaning, yung election, siguro, when they felt that medyo nanalo na sila dahil nga sa napakalakas ng support ng mga supporters ni VP Sara, they were assured na talagang mananalo na si BBM. So, they went into another plan. Siguro nagpawaw yung mga relatives sina Martin Romualdez ng VP Sara. I think kasama si Aimee, tapos si Lam kasama din yan, magplano na paano na lang kung by 2020 itatakbo si VP Sara. Paano na lang ako, sabi ni Martin Romualdez. Haka lang to ha. These are only suppositions kung ito ba talagang nangyari. But the probability na yun ang nangyari ay nandyan. So, ang nangyari siguro, maybe, this is only supposition or assumption na sabi siguro ni Martin, paano na lang ako? Paano ako after the term BBM? Saan ako pupunta? I don't want to run as Vice President po VP Sara. Because definitely, you have seen na si VP Sara tatakbo talaga as President by 2028. Yung sabi ni VP Sara, hindi pa ako hidog. So, nag-VP muna siya para gamay niya yung paano patakbuhin ang Malacanang. Kahit na naging president yung father niya, si PRRD, mas gusto pa rin niya. Si VP Sara kasi napaka-systematic na tao. She's placing everything in the right place all the time. Kaya nga kung titingnan mo, napakaganda niya maging presidente. And siguro, during that time, yun ang actuations ni Martin Romualdez. Paano na lang ako? So, that time, siguro, kasama si BBM, the only way to do that is to is to destroy BP Sara, destroy the name, or diminish their popular, excuse me, ang pagka-popular nila, bawasan natin tulad ng ginawa ng mga yellow kay Vice President Binay, yun ang ginagawa nila. The same way destroying Jujumar Binay. So, in-implement nila ito noon pa talaga. After they won the election, after BBM won the election. So, siguro, who spearheaded this plan is Martin Romualdez. So, how? Kasi, sabi, how? Paano? Paano natin simulan? Definitely, para sa akin, ang nag-start talaga ng yung problema sa confidential fund is Martin Romualdez. Ang naghanap ng paraan na yan. Kasi, klarong-klaro he suggested that you transfer fund to the fund of confidential fund as a confidential fund of BP Sara. So, dyan binasi lahat yung mga allegations of corruption. So, this started that. Pre-plan talaga yan. Pinaplano nilang ganyan. So, ang nangyari, yung nagkaroon ng hearing, nag-accusations of corruption, gusto nila na ma-impeach si BP Sara, gusto nila magiging impeachable offense ang use of confidential fund. So, nangyari yun. So, transfer ni BBM yung pondo papunta sa funds ni BP Sara. Not knowing na this action is also impeachable in his itself na siya mismo pwede siyang ma-impeach si BBM with that action. Pero sa tingin nila, kung hawakan nila mabuti ang Senate at ang Kongreso, hindi talaga mangyayari yan. So that's what they did. Binili lahat ng mga congressman through mga projects, infrastructure projects, ginalaw nila yung pundo on program and unprogram funds, binaliktad yung mga nasa program funds, lilipat sa unprogram funds. Then, yung mga unprogram funds napunta sa ayuda. Ilang billion, 500 billion, 600 billion. So, yan ang plano na talagang tinupad, na ginawa. So, nakikita niyo yung play. The only problem na medyo may kink yung their plan have not gone that smooth. Kasi walang nakitang problema na naganap sa confidential fund ni BP Sara na magiging that will be an impeachable offense. Medyo pumalpak sila doon. Kaya until now, they were doing this 24/7 marathon hearings para lang masira si BP Sara, but until now they have not gotten into the effect na talagang ang mga tao maniniwala na si BP Sara ay talagang gumawa ng corruption sa confidential fund. In that point, they failed to make that as a proof na talagang si BP Sara ay mayroong corruption na ginagawa. Then added to that are the report manifestation and report of COA auditors na wala talaga that Sara kung meron mang mga na-overlook na mga bagay with regards to the use of the confidential fund, mga reporting, kulang lang ng mga documents that they can fill up, that they can comply. They were given even 6 months to do that. So, walang violation. Ang daming gustong ipitin si VP Sara, lahat ng congressman, lahat ng kaipalan ginawa nila. Si Bini Abante, si Acop, si Franz Castro, si Raul Manuel, sino pa ba yung iba na gustong talagang si Luestro, sila lahat. And to the people, they felt to impress the people na si VP Sara ay nag-commit ng corruption in the use of confidential fund. So, ano nangyari? Dahil medyo palpak yung confidential fund, bumaliktad sila sa DepEd naman, confidential fund, and the use of yung mga activities ng DepEd, natamaan yung mga satellite offices. Kasi ang feeling ni Martin Romualdez na these are campaign pre-campaigning centers. But the truth is, ginawa yan ni VP Sara, dinuplicate lang niya yung ginawa niya sa Davao na lahat na distrito doon ay mayroong satellite office para mabilis ang action kung mayroong like that calamities, and if there are complaints by the citizens na nandiyan sa province na yan, malapit lang ang puntahan nila. They don't have to go to Manila to file a complaint. At it's very ironic dahil tinanggal nga yan, funds na yan dahil duplication daw of services, functions ng ibang department, especially the DSWD. So ano nangyari ng DSWD? They're saying that they have no budget right now. So nakita nyo, ng ilang bagyo na bang dumaan, Karina, yung the past, Inting, who made the fastest relief operation, di ba, ang OBP. So, it's so hilarious to think that even the EDCA, the Americans are being criticized na for its purpose, yung intentions na tutulong. And the satellite office, dinuplicate ng Tingog Party List na under sa asawa ni tawag niyan, Martin Romualdez. I think kung si John Magno nandiyan pa ba sa Tingog diyan, I heard before na diyan daw si John Magno nagbo-work, but I don't know, I'm not sure. So these things talagang pre-plan. So babalik tayo doon sa 4 trucks. Ibig sabihin, kung sa Bagyo pa, yan ang sinusundan ng Bagyo, 4 na truck. No? So yung una, itong sa confidential fund, which is their main intention is to impeach VP Sara. And until now, they are not stopping na tuloy-tuloy pa rin na ma-impeach si VP Sara. Bakit gusto nila ma-impeach? Kasi I think kung ma-impeach si VP Sara, papalit dyan, hindi si Jesus Escudero, definitely magkaroon yung arrangement that it will be Martin Romualdez who will become the Vice President. But I don't know kung bibitawan din niya yung Congress, or hindi na lang siya ang papalit, pero wala na siyang iisipin dahil wala na si VP Sara. Kasi kung mangyari ma-impeach si VP Sara, ang mangyayari dyan, kasama doon na he is not, by that time, hindi na siya pwedeng tumakbo in any positions of the government. That will be part of the decision or punishment or reprimand or whatever, what we call that, na hindi na siya pwedeng tumakbo on any position in the government. So including the a candidacy for president, hindi na siya magiging what we call this, hindi na siya pwede na tumakbo. So yun ang intensyon nila, no? Na talagang tuluyan na nila si VP Sara through an impeachment. And until now, yung pa rin ang gagawin nila, itutuloy nila yan sa Senado. Alam naman natin sa Senado, hindi natin masigurado kung ilan na lang ba sila dyan. So, ilan na lang ang senador na kakampi that are pro-Dutertes. Nandyan si Robin, si Bato, at saka si Bongo. And I don't know with the others, yung mga dating cabinet secretary ni PRD tulad ni Mark Villar, si Ma'am Cynthia, si ang mga Cayetanos. I don't know kung 50-50 yan, kung kakampi yan kay Sara. If ever kung i-file nila ang impeachment case next year. So yun ang magiging scenario. That's why this coming election is very important. Na talagang marami kasing hindi naka-realize that isa sa mga way out ni BP Sara na hindi makonvict sa impeachment on use of confidential fund is to have a lot of heads or senatorial senators in the Senate na galing sa PDP, galing sa mga ina-appoint ni President Duterte. So dapat talaga papanalo nila lahat na ina-appoint ni Duterte. Kasi 10 lang naman sila. So kung merong dalawang pwede nating ipanalo para solid talaga yung panalo ng mga senator na in-appoint ni Duterte, idagdag natin. That will complete the number of 12. Pero kung hindi natin iboto yung mga senators that are really been endorsed by President Duterte, mahirap at saka delikado. So we should think about that coming election on 2025. Kailangan straight talaga ang vote. Kasi I think it needs 16 votes para hindi siya ma-impeach. 16 votes na para ma-impeach siya. That's what I mean. So kung lulusot yung 8, may isa na doon si Robin Padilla. 8 lang. There are 10 candidates, PDP and yung mga in-endorse ni PRRD. Kung lulusot lang yan, there's a slim chance na ma-impeach si BP Sara. So I think by this coming election, talagang all out ang kampanya ni PRRD at ni BP Sara. Kasi alam na nila gaano ka-critical yung time na yan, yung election na yan. So dapat naman yung mga supporters, the 30 million if they are still there, mga DDS, mga DDS yun talaga ang mga plano nila na all out straight Team Duterte sila, which is kasi napaka-formidable din ng mga kalaban. Kung ordinary citizen lang and they don't know the reason why you should vote straight PDP or Team Duterte, kung titingnan mo lang yung kabila, talagang malalakas din. But kaya naman gibain yan through campaigning, talagang diligent campaigning, talagang ihahayag mo yung mga reasons why na kailangan natin bumoto ng straight Team Duterte. So ito yung isa sa mga solution for that impeachment. So nagbibigay ko ng solutions kung paano susolbahin yan. So another way na ginawa nila sa, let's go back to the Quadcom revelations, yung ICC problem, yung ICC na talagang ini-insist nila na mayroong crimes of humanity si President Duterte. So let us remember na yung crimes of humanity ay sa mga cases na civilian ang pinapatay. Do you think that na itong mga civilians ang mga drug addicts, mga manufacturers ng drugs? Do you think na sila? They are just civilians, merely civilians. They are civilians. They are they are people who have benefited in selling drugs and everything. Mm. So, napaka controversial ng ICC. Aside from them, nawala silang jurisdiction over the Philippines because we have deposited our uh, membership instrument on 2018. Nagwi-withdraw na tayo ng 2018. So, di na tayo member ng ICC. Then there's a regulation na kailangan within 1 year you should file cases against the persons that you have accused. At hindi nga naging totoo yun dahil ang what we filed was in 2021, so medyo paso na yun. Tapos na yung uh, regulation na we should file it within the 1 year period. So, yun ang nangyari. So, yun ang insistence ni Bingbong Medialdia na wala na talaga tayo. Even as Attorney Panelo is saying that na wala na silang jurisdiction na yan. Meron namang iba nagsasabi, especially na si Nery Colmenares, na hindi daw totoo yung case ng 1 year regulation. But until now, they haven't issued because during the petition ni yung past na Secretary of Justice na gusto nga ipatigil yung investigation sa ICC, nag-file siya doon na ipatigil, but his reason was because ang korte natin, ang judicial system natin is able and willing. The courts are able and willing to prosecute any case na isasampa with regards to crimes of humanity or any other crimes na tina-charge to a particular person. Sa case ni President Duterte, it was filed at way na si SOG. I think this is the Secretary General ng Pilipinas noon, si Medardo Guevara, na nakalimutan niya to mention about jurisdiction. Kaya yun ang dahilan na tinuloy yung investigation. But when the ICC, when Medardo Guevara followed up it with the reason na hindi pwedeng ituloy ang investigation because there's a jurisdiction issue, biglang hindi nagkaroon ng resumption ng any hearing. So, meaning na nakita rin ng ICC na mayroong problem sa jurisdiction. So, until now, ayun sabi ni Trillanes, na yung warrant of arrest will be nagsimula ng January, then February, then June, then later on July, then September. Wala namang lumabas na warrant of arrest. So, talagang merong something on the jurisdiction issue that prevented ICC to issue a warrant of arrest. So, yan nga lang ang napaka-worrisome kasi di natin alam kung susundin ba yan ng government natin. Alam naman natin, maraming laws na binabali ang government natin. O, titingnan natin yung case ng Kingdom of Jesus Christ. Ang daming violations doon, but they don't care. Nagpapadala pa sila ng daming pulis doon. So yun ang mga worrisome na mga situations that we're not sure kung magiging that the government will follow sa mga batas na in-implement ng tulad niyan ng ICC. So, another issue na nire-reveal ng Quadcom was yung rehas na issue na pinalabas ni Laila de Lima and Trillanes. Ngayon nga nagka-problema si Trillanes dahil ididemanda siya ni PRD ng a lot of counts of libel. Na magagaling pa naman ang lawyer ni PRD that they will make sure na magiging liable si Trillanes niyan. And itong kaso na to, may kulong ito. So, huwag magpagkampante si Trillanes na maayos niya ang iyong situation na yan. Yung kaso na yan na isasampa ni President Duterte sa kanya. So, this case na kasama na yung kay Laila de Lima regarding with the body squad, wala naman talaga. Ang tagal na kaso na yan. Ever since na mayor pa si President Duterte at nagiging secretary pa siya ng human rights and nagiging secretary siya of justice. So, wala naman siyang naipapile na kaso kay President Duterte. Nagkaroon siya ng mga witnesses, Matubato and Las Cañas, na parang mga bogus na mga witnesses naman yun. Wala naman may papile na matinong kaso. Puro propaganda lang ang ginagawa. So, sa dyan mga cases, parang malabo yan na ma-file sa DOJ. Pwede mag-file ng kaso. Ay lalabanan naman ni President Duterte yan eh. Lalabanan naman yan ng sa korte. At really naman siya, he's a lawyer and he knows the law. He knows the criminal law kung paano. So hindi ako takot dyan sa EJK cases. And they even included the other Dutertes. Si Pulong at yung asawa ni yung husband ni BP Inday Sara. So makikita natin yung talagang they planned this for a long time para nga talaga to totally destroy the Dutertes. And this is nice, this is good na rebel sa Quadcom hearings kasi panay ang deny dati nila na walang ICC, walang na we're no longer member of ICC. Yung bagong actuation ngayon na BBM, anong sinabi niya? Sinabi niya na hindi natin pipigilan na mag-implement ang ICC ng warrant of arrest through the Interpol para arestuhin si President Duterte. Hindi nila pipigilan. On my past vlogs, in-explain ko na yan kung bakit hindi pwede ang Interpol, ang ICC magbigay ng Interpol ng warrant of arrest because ICC is not a country. It's only a treaty where we become before a member. Ang Interpol naman is a treaty also, but it's a different institution na other countries are members. So kung mag-issue ang ICC ng warrant of arrest, it should come from ICC, not from Interpol. At ang problema, di na nga tayo member. So they don't have jurisdiction. Yung mga ginawa nila Trillanes na even kinukumpronta siya ni Abante. Himself, kinukumpronta ni Abante na you have confided with the ICC, meaning parang traitors ang naging traitor ka dahil ang ICC walang sovereignty sa atin. Bakit nakipag-usap ka sa ICC? Wala naman silang jurisdiction sa atin. So this act na ginagawa ni Trillanes is a traitorous act. I don't know kung meron bang kaso na pwedeng i-file sa kanya. But mismong kasama niya diyan sa Quadcom ang nag-mention na it is not, I don't know kung ang term niya illegal, na ang ginawa mo yan, makipag-usap sa ICC. Sabi ni, ano, parang representative daw siya ng ICC. Parang gano'n. He is the connection. He maintains a connection with the ICC. Sabi ni uh, Trillanes. Then, ito naman si Dan Fernandez was saying, hindi na natin pag-usapan itong ICC, ganyan-ganyan. Kasi, gusto niyang mawala yung pag-uusap tungkol dyan on that time para mga tao hindi malaman kung ano ba talagang totoong nangyari dyan sa ICC. So, itong mga point na to, mabuti na lang na nagkaroon ng Quadcom ng hearing na ganyan at nandyan si President Duterte kasi maraming realization na we have realized a lot of things na talagang plano talaga nila na pabagsakin ang mga Dutertes. So, with this information, I hope kung mayroong mga Duterte supporters that are hearing this broadcast, and I think also, yung idea na yan, yung na itong ginawa talaga ng this is circulating and supporters ni President Duterte, pero hindi lang nagiging isang collective na decision na talaga dapat maghanda natin against these plans. Sila PRRD naman tsaka si Inday, alam nila kung paano ika-counter itong ganitong pangyayari. So, alam nila dahil mga politiko yan at mga abogado pa. So, definitely alam nila yan. So, dapat tayo as a supporter or those ordinary citizens na who have been listening to this podcast, we should be aware and prepare na kung meron tayong may tulong sa mga Dutertes to protect them. Kasi right now, parang nababawasan na yung hope natin for a better Philippines, for a better country. Kailangan talaga natin na kumilos at makisama para sangga natin ang any eventuality na mangyayari na would peril the stability of our country. So, alam na natin na mangyayari yan kung we know how adamant the administration in implementing their demonic plans against the Duterte. So, hindi ko makita kung natitigilan nila yan. They will continue that in whatever way. Tutuloy nila yan. So, tayo kung supporter tayo ni President Duterte, we'll do our part. We will do our share to help those people who are also protecting the same tao na si President Duterte and BP Inday. All of this started, this will start in the election in 2025. So, one of the best way na tayo as simple citizens of this country is to vote wisely. Kailangan alam natin kung sino ang iboboto natin. Hindi lang tayo mag-campaign kung sino ang iboboto. Campaign din natin sino ang hindi dapat iboto. Tulad ng 2019 nang ginawa nila President Duterte na vote straight talaga at otso diretso sa inodoro, if you remember that jargon. Talagang natupad yun. So, dapat ganun. So, if you have relatives here, abroad, kung nasa abroad naman kayo, you inform your relatives about the situation dito sa Pilipinas. And this is for in our own good dahil alam naman natin ang situation ngayon. Grabe na ang bumabalik na talaga ang drugs. And if you are here in the Philippines, makikita mo yan on the streets. The streets right now is not safe. Delikado ang streets ng Philippines ngayon. Kaya hindi pwede yung gabi ka na mamasyal. Depende rin sa lugar. There are places na hindi na talaga mapasok ng basta-basta. Delikado. So, with this, actually this is a hurriedly done vlog dahil I was thinking na bukas pa ako mag-vlog, but I've seen this issue, so I have to make a hurried broadcast with little preparations. So with this, before we will end this broadcast, I would like to thank you all for coming over this channel, and I hope you will follow, you will like and share, subscribe. Please subscribe para dumami naman tayo. This is a new channel, and I hope gumanda ang algorithm ng channel na to, at makatulong naman tayo sa ginawa ng ating nasa right thinking na mga politicians like PRD and BP Sara. So with this, I thank you for coming over. Please subscribe and see you in my next vlog. Thank you and good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Salamat po.